My memoirs, he's a chapter. I mean, Lemmy, there's certain people, a handful of people who have changed my life. And Lemmy was one of them. So we're at Lemmy's memorial service. And at the front door are shots of Jack for everybody in Lemmy's honor. And my wife and I don't drink. And she says, should we have a shot? I mean, it's kind of Lemmy's wish. I said, the first time I hung with Lemmy, he pulled me aside into a bathroom and laid out 2 lines and said, here. And I had to say to one of my heroes, I don't get high. And I figured that's going to immediately that was a turnoff to a lot of people back then. And Lemmy looked at me, he looked at the lines, he goes, okay, more for me. And he did both lines. And that was our relationship. He did drugs for both of us. So I said to my wife, no, we don't have to take a shot. I said, more for Lemmy. We go inside, and if you've heard anything about this memorial service, it is a who-who of rock and roll, of heavy metal. I mean, just insane. Star power. Ozzy, Gene, and Paul, and Guns N' Roses, and Foo Fighters, and then professional wrestlers like Triple H. And I mean, it was just incredible who was in that chapel. People got up and spoke and talked about Lemmy and what he meant to them. But Twisted Sister, it was that famous Wrexham football stadium show where he wound up second on a festival bill to Motörhead with no album out. No one's ever seen us in the UK. And we went on stage in broad daylight for the first time in our careers. And I'll tell you what, Motörhead's fans, woo, it's a tough crowd. We were so nervous. We even had a song called What You Don't Know Shook and Hurt You. We performed the first half of the song in silhouette so the audience wouldn't see what we look like until halfway through. And then the lights would come on. And the idea was hopefully by that time you said, wow, this band's really rocking. So we couldn't pull that gag. And we were so nervous about the fact it was a huge bill. The guys didn't want to wear their costumes and makeup. And I remember saying to the guys, I said, I am too. I said, but if I'm wearing this shit for 10 fucking years, and if I was going to take it off, it's not going to be today. So Lemmy comes in and says, I'll introduce you. And I can't believe it. I mean, this is the headliner is going to walk out on stage to bring on the band that goes on before him. I mean, it's unheard of. I mean, the headliner doesn't appear until his entrance, the moment, that it comes on. And when we walked out on stage, I mean, I swear you could see the arms and the bottles and the rocks. And then Lemmy walked out. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And I was told when they translated, because I didn't speak Lemmy back then, he said, these are some friends of mine from America. Give them a listen. And that was just like bring the arm down a little bit. Don't put the bottle down. Just, all right. Lemmy said, and we did what we did. And we got that day one of the greatest ovations of our career in the locker room. And 10 minutes after we're off, our road manager comes in and goes, listen to that. And we stop, and you could hear the stadium going, Twisted Sister, Twisted. It was like insane. Subsequent to that, Lemmy just started showing up at gigs unannounced, walking through the front door, coming to the back, this is fucking, they're playing a fucking football stadium. This is a big act. And he would just come to our shows, offer to introduce us, come up and jam with us, to be accepted. My wife is very spiritual, not like a holy roller type, more like into spirituality. And she leaned over to me and she said, I think Lemmy was an angel. And I said, what? She goes, no, really. She says, they say that God puts angels on earth to guide us on our way, to help us along. He says, and you listen to everybody's story. She says, and everybody's story is how Lemmy was suddenly there for them at a time that they needed him to be there for them. This is what the angels that are sent down to earth are here to do, to help us along our way. And I said, let me get this straight. You're saying God sent down a pirate biker angel to guide us on our way? And she said this to me, this is true. She said, would you have accepted someone in long flowing white robes? He was just rough, tough, scary looking dude who just had a heart of gold. and was just so generous using his whatever leverage he had to help others along their path. That's a story nobody else will tell you.